Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm doing my monthly basement battle versus Ecobaronen. In this series, we both bring 3 decks that you won't find on the front page of MTG Goldfish. That's the only rule. And we try to showcase some of the stuff that's happening on the fringes of Legacy. If you followed this series before, you know that my Patreon votes on the decks that I play, and my Patreon are a bunch of sick freaks. So this week, I'm playing 3 different Fantasticar decks. I expect that this will make this showcase, this video, very short, but also this is what's going on in Legacy right now. I hope that it's not really what's going on come August, but there are a lot of real decks featuring the Fantasticar defining the rules of engagement of the format right now. And there are also a lot of silly decks on the fringes that are doing this too. I hope that one day this will serve as a hilarious artifact of, wow, remember that stupid Fantasticar that was legal for 2 months? But the decks that I am playing this week. First is Oops All Spells. This is just Oops All Spells featuring also the Fantasticar as a pivot thing. The goal will be to win the game on turn 1 or attack for 16 on turn 1 for a functional turn 2 win. Not a lot to be explained here. The second deck I'm playing is a deck that my Patreon has called the Pontiac Firebird. This is Arclight Phoenix Buried Alive combo with also the Fantasticar. Imagine that. Both of these cards want you to cast a bunch of spells in a turn, and they both pay out in different ways. You could even break the Fantasticar by going like Dark Ritual, Buried Alive, Thoughtseize, and then you get to Arclight Phoenix and Fantasticar on the same turn. Pretty sweet. And then if your opponent has Graveyard Hate, you can Car. If they have Artifact Hate, you can Phoenix. This is a Force of Will Daze deck as well to protect itself. And the final deck I'm playing, this is Mono White Car Bomber. The Bomberman combo, Auriok Salvagers, 1 and a white, return target artifact with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Lion's Eye Diamond is an artifact that costs 1 or less that makes 3 mana, which means with Auriok Salvagers, Lion's Eye Diamond makes infinite mana of every color and gives you infinite cast, like infinite storm, which can kill with Glaring Fleshraker, can break the Fantasticar. If you have a Karn in play with your infinite mana, you can wish for whatever you want and deploy it. And since we're a deck with this density of zeros anyway, vroom vroom, baby. I think this is the slowest and most sturdy of the decks that I'm playing today. And I've sequenced them strategically because Ecobaronen and I, we alternate play draw, but it's determined based on the first die roll is random, and then we alternate play draw from there. So I've put Car Bomber third, so I'm guaranteed to be on the play with either Vroops or Firebird. As these decks really want to be on the play, and rather than roll the dice that I get to be on the play with both of them, splitting them first and third, I'm just going to make sure one of them is on the play and the other's on the draw. And then Car Bomber doesn't mind so much where it is. I'm playing Vroops first. Let's do it. Merlion Games is hosting one of the biggest Eternal events of the summer. August 22nd and 23rd in San Mateo, California is Breach the Bay 2, featuring a CEDH 25K, Legacy 3K, and Pre-Modern 3K with over $30,000 in cash prizes guaranteed. Breach the Bay also features a huge range of Magic artists, featuring multi-format staples like Oath of Druid, Tabernacle, Tamiyo, Sol Ring, Ponder, and more. If you need cards for the event, there will be vendors on site, or you can use Merlion.gg's deck buying tool. You're one copy and paste away from knowing exactly what cards they have for your deck. Make plans now to attend Breach the Bay 2, links in the video description. I've won the die roll with Vroops for the first round. This hand is pretty bad. I'll mulligan it. This one also doesn't do anything. Straight to 5. My goodness, okay. This hand on 5 mana, or 5 cards, has 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 spells, but you can't use Pact of Negation to crack your car. If I keep this, I would guess I would bottom Pact and Chrome Mox, because Chrome Mox costs 2 cards to use. I could just Cabal Therapy my opponent. I think I'm going to go to 4. Okay, well, that's why you mulligan. Keep, bottom, Lively Dirge, Fantasticar, and unfortunate this isn't a 5. I could have had the Protected Send. But I'll just take the turn 1. Oh, opponent's also on 7. Disappointing. Dark Ritual. I hate this pause. That makes me think he has interaction. Balustrade Spy. The Mull to 4 killed me. Mull to 5 would have won. Okay. Well, I guess we'll play it out. I'm at least fishing for information here. Chrome Mox Flow State strategy with Flusterstorm in the main as well. Flow State for 1 card. That's 2 Flow States accounted for, and now the third one can be online. Bridge from Below. That's a card you definitely want to see in your hand ever. Okay, Lotus Petal. That one's actually good. Step in the right direction. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so this is probably like the Hull Breacher car version. Active Negation. Maybe he'll tie to his own ring. 15 life and counting. Fetching to 14. Stock up. 14 is or 16 was a critical juncture because that means car is a kill. So he's under the necessary threshold for car to be a good thing to do. Seagate Reborn, untapped. That means we're not done yet. I think that probably represents Hull Breacher, and then I'm going to get my day undone in the near future. It didn't do anything, so it more likely represents counter spells, actually. A 9 life, ring on 3. Stock up. Chrome Mox, that's 2 spells. Pitching Omniscience, oh baby. Alright, he's definitely off on some other shit here, which is great for the showcase. Okay, discarding some cards to hand size. Unite the Coalition, holy moly. Choose 5. You may choose the same mode more than once. Target permanent faces out. Target player draws a card. Exile target player's graveyard. 2 to any target. Target artifact or enchantment. Crazy. I drew a car. Unfortunately, I didn't need another payoff here. I needed mana. At 6 life. 12 cards in hand. Show and tell. I don't have... Yeah, there's no room in this build for the Memories Journey stuff. Do I want to show him the Fantasticar? I could put Bridge from Below in, just because it's funny. All right, I'll put in Bridge from Below. You want to destroy target artifact or enchantment? You worried? All right, Flow State. I think we're going to see the win con here. With Omniscience in play, and you've seen 32 cards of your deck or more, should be able to figure it out. Back up Omniscience. Warrior Revealed. Maybe he'll deck himself. Stock up. 20 cards left in the deck. Hullbreaker Horror. Okay, now you can go infinite in a variety of ways. All right. Got me. Okay, Thoughtseize, I want. His defense is going to be counter spells, and he's a combo deck of his own. Yeah, I like Pact, I like Thoughtseize. Do I shave on like Lively Dirge and Simian Spirit Guide? In the deck is mana and payoffs, and Lively Dirge is the worst payoff, and Spirit Guide is the worst mana. Does this make sense? Maybe not, but it's what's happening. I'm not going to bring in Force of Vigor to try to actually fight a Omniscience, a resolved Omniscience, and that's not how this is going to go. That mulligan to 4 is going to haunt my life. Had to put the Pact on the bottom. I guess what I could have done instead is put something else on the bottom, like put the Cabal Ritual on the bottom and hope I draw mana and then protect myself on turn 2 or 3. But in the blind, in this silly showcase challenge, like I don't know if he's just gonna Turnwood Sphere of Resistance or some weird shit. Like making that decision, I am betting that he is a blue deck and has Force in his hand, which are both not guaranteed. No mana. I'll mulligan this one. All right, what does this one do? It looks promising. Is it promising? What are we doing here? Flusterstorm doesn't stop the Fantasticar. This is turn 2. Chrome Mocked, Exile. I need to find another spell. I think I am going to keep this, though. Bottom Spirit Guide. And just kind of take the slow route, the car route. Opponent kept 7 knowing I moves all spells, so I'm not trying to mull to 4 to find the nuts against that. Narcomoeba is a pitch to Chrome Mox. That's not 0. Cycling Lorien. Low state for 1 card. Thoughtseize, that's pretty good. So Cabal Ritual. So if I shock this in, I have 4 mana, 5. What's the sequence here? So if I go Thoughtseize, Cabal Ritual, Fantasticar, Chrome Mox, we're there. All right, I'll start on Thoughtseize and see what's going on over there. 1 spell. Okay, there's a Force of Will. All right, Force of Will's out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this does work. Just super checking. 2, 3. Vroom, vroom. This unfortunately does give him a window to go off. And I think I do want to pitch an Archiviva because the other things my deck does cost 4. All right, F6. One of us is dead. Drew Ancient Tomb. So one ring buys a turn, but can only afford to draw one card with it ever. Active Negation. Hilarious. I can almost pay for that. Okay, you can't tap Ancient Tomb, and you can't... you can tap one ring because you're dead anyway. And then you need... if he finds land that doesn't hurt, which means not Ancient Tomb, not Fetch Land, and Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul, I'm at exactly 15. I could sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, block, and attack for 4 back. I don't even lose to Emrakul here. I mean, I lose to Omniscience, almost certainly. Okay, I think this Brainstorm probably rules out anything that could happen. Like, what can you do from 1 mana if you can't tap your Ancient Tomb? I guess if there's one City of Traders in the deck. Like, City of Traders is the out. Or we've seen Chrome Mox in this deck. Okay, no, there are ways that this could happen. But any mana spent on anything that's not putting an Omniscience into play is good news for me. Oh, come on. You maniac. You absolute maniac. I mean, great job playing your outs. I have nothing to put in. And now the stock up. Okay, so that was the perfect needle thread at 1 life. And Emrakul still does not beat me by itself, but having 2 stock ups left over with the Omniscience is going brutal. Oh, you also need to survive your 1 ring. Okay, so you need to remove your own 1 ring on your extra turn with Emrakul. Oh, there is another hurdle to get through here. But we have also demonstrated the difference between a deterministic combo and a pretty good attack for a lot of damage. Because if that was Balustrade Spy, the game would have just ended. A Lorien. I've got thin outs here. Gotta hope that hand is full of lands and redundant Omnisciences. Alright, stock up. Unlikely. My opponents looked at 18 cards since Omniscience came into play. 21 cards. 24 cards. Second Omniscience. I don't care about that. Unite the Coalition. Deal 2 damage to any target. Okay, he's just burning me out. I'm at 5. This also works. Sick. Okay. Nice. On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here.
I'm on the draw against a Yori on strategy. My hand does not actually have mana to play the game, so I'll mulligan. Okay, keep this one. Bottom basic island. Plains, Esper Sentinel, okay. Lotus Petal. Alright, that's something. Fantasticar needs non-creature spells. Phoenix needs instants and sorceries. I do have Surveil Land in my deck. It is red. That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Sentinel gets a point. What I really don't want to see is Thalia. Marsh Flats. Stoneforge Mystic. All right, that one's okay, I hope. I think the best card I can find is Dark Ritual. All right, we've got a Meteor Sword over there. We'll get Thundering Falls. Thoughtseize. Does that do it? So it's Ritual, Thoughtseize, Buried Alive. Can I get the car into... Probably not. I have 3, 4, 5 mana. Yeah, this is a Phoenix Send that ignores the car. Yeah, I'll keep that on top. Okay, can I pay for Esper Sentinel and do what I want to do? I think I can. A Dark Ritual and pay. Yeah, it's going to cost me the Lotus Petal either way. Or I could ignore it and keep the Lotus Petal in my hand. Does that matter? I could also just let my opponent have a card. No, why would I let them have a card? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Lotus Petal. Pay the Troll Toll. Dark Ritual. Wait, Car hits harder than Phoenix. So this is 2 spells. I can make it 3. I'm playing around Force of Will if I go for Phoenix. All right, I'm gonna be a wuss here. Oh, Birthing Ritual. All right, there is stuff going on over there. Meteor Sword, Birthing Ritual, Solitude, costs a bunch of cards. Meteor Sword takes out a Phoenix that's already done a bunch of damage. I think I want the Solitude gone here. Buried Alive. I am hooked on Phoenix. Beginning of combat. Here they are. Okay, now that I know it's a Selesnya Birthing Ritual deck, doing the car would have been better. This game could definitely just grind back in the other direction. This fetch puts my opponent to 9, though, which is the number that 3 Phoenixes kill from. Flicker Wisp. Stoneforge is... Okay, untapping a land. Did you draw Swords to Plowshares? That's crazy. I feel like that's the only reason to do that. Instead of flickering Stoneforge. Yep. Alright, this fucking guy today. He's got my number. And there's Force of Will right on time. No, I'm gonna be out of Phoenixes here. Flush Portico. I wish you had drawn that last turn. Dumped Wasteland. This is gonna be Birthing Ritual. And playing that out leaves Meteor Sword in the hand. Alright, yeah, I don't want to play against this card. Low State is insane, actually. I'm gonna attack first in case... Like, I am feeding the Esper Sentinel here, but I think I have to do it. A Volcanic Island, Flow State. Pass the turn. Now Meteor Sword can kill Phoenix and stabilize. But if I string some spells together, I'm back. White Orchid Phantom. Okay, that's a flying blocker with first strike. Man, this guy, he's on my shit today. I don't have black mana anymore. At least I had a basic to tutor up. Great. Okay, I will pay the Troll Toll to cast Flow State. I think this is a setup turn. Lotus Petal and Daze. Yeah, I'll take Petal and Daze. And I've played one spell this turn. I could Petal Dark Ritual, Daze Dark Ritual, and attack with 2 Phoenixes, but that's not good enough. Okay. I'll pass the turn. I need him to flush out this Meteor Sword, and then I can get the car going. There's a lot of draws where I can car and Phoenix next turn. It is pretty nice having a deck this explosive with Flow State at the core of it. That's a lot of reload compared to the Oops deck last game, where if you get stopped, you're just mostly dead. Aether Vial. Okay. That one doesn't matter. I'm fairly confident. Yorion in hand. All right. You're cooked. And I drew a spell. Okay. I think I can afford to ignore Esper Sentinel now. If I go Lotus Petal, Fantasticar, or Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Fantasticar, Ponder, all days backing up all of it. All right, Lotus Petal. You can have a card. I don't care. Dark Ritual, Fantasticar. And then the Ponder gets back the Phoenix and breaks the car. Sick. Flow State, baby. Okay, we're playing against a fair white deck. Consigned to Memory does interact with most of the things my opponent does. But this is also exactly the type of deck you just want to dunk their face in it. Do I think Consign is better than Daze? I'm not even convinced that's true. Daze is also a 0-cost spell for Phoenix and Car. I could Daze one of my own spells along the chain, which almost came up that game, but then I drew out of it. I think on the draw I'll turn some Dazes into some Consigns, and then otherwise just send it. I don't think the Baragoyf Juke is a good one here, because my opponent's deck is built to outgrind creature stuff. My hand is slow and steady, which I'm not sure is what I want in this matchup. This does get Flow State operational quickly. I think I'm actually going to keep this because my opponent's going to be expecting a fast hand, and if he mulligans low to some nonsense, then Thoughtseize Ponder Flow State might take it all apart. I do wish I had a basic swamp I could access here, but I'm just going to hope that Wasteland's not in my future, even though it's a huge part of the deck. Okay, Thali is out of here. That's a card I'm terrified of. And do I want to play out Lotus Petal? I am going to play out Lotus Petal. That makes future cars slightly worse, but if my opponent draws the cards that he's looking for, like Thalia or Deafening Silence, it's better to have this thing in play. I have a second Thoughtseize that can take whatever Stoneforge Mystic is trying to do here. A bauble. Okay. I think I want to start with Ponder. I would like to find another land, and we did. Having to bury these two flow states is not my favorite, but it's fine. Red, black, bad lands. Thoughtseize that pre-war Formalware. We got a Mindbreak Trap in the hand now. I'm still more worried about Formalware. And do I want to hold on to this bauble or do I want more cards? I think I want cards. I'm on the flow state side of things now. A bauble you. Another Stoneforge. Okay. I'm working with complete information here. Daze, that could beat the Mindbreak Trap. So I probably have to counter this Birthing Ritual immediately. I mean, if that thing flips into some graveyard hate or like really anything, I'm not interested in doing that. And that gives me the instant for flow state to work. Phoenix Ritual Car. Okay, Ritual Car is what I'm doing. Because there's this messed up truth that Mindbreak Trap doesn't even necessarily beat the car. Because I could go Dark Ritual Car resolves, and then cast my other two spells, and it doesn't matter if they resolve. Lion Sash in the hand. Counterspell would be awesome. Okay. Dark Ritual Car. I see the Wrath of the Skies over there. I know this is not the whole game. Land Brainstorm. I'm not going to wake the car up. Mindbreak Trap the Brainstorm. That's fine. Brainstorm. If this hits Buried Alive, my opponent's actually dead. Oh, another Mindbreak Trap. Sure. All right, homie. Okay. Well, my opponent is trying to draw a white source right now to win the game outright. And it even takes my Lotus Petal with it for free. All in. We got the GG. Okay, yeah. Missed on a white land. Like, this basic forest actually cost him the whole game. But the Thalia replacement Thalia Mindbreak Trap was a pretty good run out from Death and Taxes into what I'm doing. And on to Car Bomber for the last round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in the third round with Car Bomber. And this hand does a lot. But at what speed? I could just like play Car on 2. What happens if I just play Ancient Tomb and pass? Like working my way towards Karn on the slow. I think I can do better than this. Yeah. All right, I'll mulligan. No mana at all. 5. Okay, disappointing. I'll keep and bottom Car and is it Skateboard? Probably. All right. That's not what I wanted. All right, Plains pass. Opponent's got 7 cards in hand. Flooded Strand. Karn. Witch Blessed Meadow. Play it tapped. Pass. End step fetch. Meticulous Archive. Kept on top. Ponder. Just checking for Cavern. I think Human is what I'm supposed to say. Yeah. Okay. Got a Tundra. Ooh. I could just ram Karn out here. Okay. Karn. Force negation pitching stock up. Okay. Karn's out of here. Low state, operational. And fetching with Flooded Strand in the main still. Jeskai revealed. Steel Shaper's Gift. Oh, yeah. All right. We found the twist. Found Corey Steelcutter. Fun. Okay. Not a lot to do here, actually, unfortunately. I'll play Fleshraker. And then I probably also just want to play Car. Just make some stuff happen. I think we're not at the point, like this deck doesn't refill and break the car from this position, so having it in play and able to wake up as a 4/4 actually matters. It doesn't have a traditional crew ability, so this Fleshraker doesn't help here, but drawing like Mox Opal and getting to attack for 4 instead of doing nothing is pretty sweet. Cutter, allowing Fleshraker. Yep, that works. I'm back to 20. The land is not what I want. Okay, running out of gas. I kind of want to draw Lion's Eye Diamond and then Auriok Salvagers in that order. Low state, preordain. All right, wow. A lot of cantrips. Low to the ground here. Another preordain. Damage coming. First one went bottom, bottom. That one went top, top. Okay, bad news. Probably just dead next turn to the beats. All right. Not getting there with that. Okay, we're against some sort of fair deck. Steel Shaper's Gift is pretty cool. That's a strong nod towards Corey Steelcutter. Disruptor Flute could name Force of Will if I think that's important. It could name Corey Steelcutter if that's a core part of the deck. I'm fairly confident I want Haywire Might. Might be over one of the opals. This deck probably is going to have Wrath of the Skies or Meltdown in it. Yeah, there's not a lot to change here. These are, like, these big blue decks do tend to be matchups Bomberman wants. But you do need a second Haymaker. Normally, it's like Haymaker, they force it, Haymaker, Haymaker, and eventually one sticks. But that game, my only Haymaker was Karn, because by the time the card was able to be cast, it was not even in the neighborhood of triggering. Or it doesn't count as a Haymaker anymore. Got a turn 1 Chalice of the Void, but unfortunately it's on the back of City of Traders, which does not get very far after that. I could go Witch Enchant or Lotus Petal Chalice, and then I'm still relying on City of Traders. And if this was Ancient Tomb, this hand would be nuts. I think I got them all again. Yeah, dang. So close. All right, I will keep this and put Skateboard on the bottom. I think I want to just Walking Ballista for 1 here. Just put something on the board. If this ends up in the graveyard, that's where I want it anyway. And I'm looking for Lion's Eye Diamond to win the game. Ooh. Get in, loser. We're going shopping. Right, Cavern on Human. And I'm going to try to force check with a car or a counterspell check. Consign to Memory could be up here. Right, that's countered. It was a distraction anyway. Ponder. Lotus Petal is actually lethal alongside Salvagers and Flesh Raker. Because the Raker deals 1 every time I play Petal, then Petal plus Spawn buys the Petal back. That is another angle of this deck. A Ponder did not did it shuffle? What did we do? Did not shuffle, and then tap land from hand, dumped Brainstorm, Mishra's Bauble targeting me. Hope it's Lion's Eye Diamond. Where's a Saga? I'll take that, though. No complaints here. Saga, Flesh Raker. With 2 Caverns, I could have actually made Flesh Raker uncounterable, but developing Saga seems worth it. Force pitching Lavinia. Oh, Lavinia sucks. I'm glad that's gone. Low state. Yeah, Saga gets the Lion's Eye Diamond also. So 2 turns out, I have Ascend. My opponent would need to remove Salvagers from play or Force of Negation the Lion's Eye Diamond the second time I cast it. This would be a big turn to find Chalice of the Void. Fetching for Valk and Preordain. Hands keep on tripping. Bottom, bottom. Bobble. A lot of velocity from my opponent here. Come on, Chalice of the Void. Lotus Petal. Okay. Was almost good. Cavern on. I'll go Eldrazi on this one. Just in case. Attack. And now I'm Saga gaming. Wrath of the Skies would be pretty bad news for me. I have Flooded Strand. Corey Steelcutter on the stack. Low state. That triggers the cutter. Does tap opponent out, which means Swords to Plowshares isn't going to work. Which means he has to have Force of Negation from here. Or something like Subtlety or Mindbreak Trap. Like something weird. He's already played his land. Okay, Bobble's fine. Bobbling me. And step. Make a construct for good measure. And you draw for Bobble. I draw the car. Oh, baby. Okay. Float a colorless. Tutor Lion's Eye Diamond. LED. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The car's not going to matter. Salvagers. And Petal. I'm about to lose my hand, so might as well play it out. White, white, white. Salvagers, get back LED. This line also beats Graveyard Hate because I can just activate again in response. So it has to be Force of Negation right now. or Mind Break Trap. He hasn't conceded, so we'll see. Okay, there is a successful Force of Negation. My opponent is not dead. I don't quite have enough mana to do anything extra here. All right, Force of Negation, it had to be, and it was. A lot of mana in the pool right now. Wrath for 2. Okay, probably just banking energy, because you don't actually want to kill your Quarry Steelcutter. Okay, well, I will deal 1 to my opponent with Ballista, and float a white with Lotus Petal. And then I'll lose Construct, you'll lose Monk. Yep. Left 2 energy in the pool for later. I back... Do I want Petal back or Ballista? I think I'd rather have Ballista. That's at least a threat. Swords of Plowshares. Didn't matter what the timing on that was. Couldn't play around it. 1 card in hand for both of us. Oh, Flesh Raker. No, that was the top deck that turns it. All right. Do I want Ballista in play on 2? That could take out some monks. Yeah, I guess. Ballista on 2. Life total getting low. I've tapped Ancient Tomb basically every turn of this game. Stock up. That resolves. Good card. Good card. I'm pretty sure I'm losing this game, but it is tight. I have a bunch of Kozilek's commands in my deck I haven't even seen. Like one of those would see a lot of cards, or kill a monk, or make a bunch of blockers, draw a bunch of cards. Options. Okay, do I want to try to kill this monk right now? I get completely cooked by an instant. Yeah, I don't think I can afford to do that. At which point, it begs the question, then why did I play Walking Ballista? Which is a fair question. And if opponent plays another spell, then the prowess is committed and I could take out the 2/2 monk. A land makes that more complicated. Okay, I think I should kill the monk that I could kill here. I can't really afford to take 7 this turn. Another tomb. All right, I'm mostly dead here. Oh wait, I don't even have to tap the other cavern. That's not how this works. Ancient Tomb's already got me. Flesh Raker, and I can't tap 2 tombs this game anyway, so there's no reason to play out the second one. All right, I can't win. GG. Let's go debrief.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
All right, guys, it's debrief time. We just had our July basement battle, and or should we call it the garage battle?
Yeah, garage battle is appropriate.
I noticed a theme amongst your decks today. You didn't came to play. You had a little bit of a throwback to, an already banned deck, and then maybe a side of what's to come with some other strategies. What was what when you woke up this morning? What kind of flavor of Magic did you want to play?
Well, I put this to my Patreon. They have a voting system. They put decks forward, and then everyone votes on them. That happens every month, and those sick maniacs decided they wanted to see a bunch of different Fantasticar decks, and who am I to refuse?
Oh yeah, of course, you're a man of the people.
That's right.
So let's kick things off with the first one. You were bringing a mulligan machine, and I had a Force of Will in my opener. So whenever that happens, that's more just I'll keep my hand against any deck, right? And then it's just I'm pretty happy when you go down to 4 there. Pretty scary. You can still produce a turn 1, like I need a force or I'm dead there. Did you have any cool decisions in that match?
Yeah, that game 1, it was the 4 cards I kept. The 5th card I put to the bottom was Pact of Negation. So like on mull to 5, I just have the nuts, and I had the decision where I could keep like Petal, Ritual, Spy, Pact, and hope to draw 1 mana
Yes,
at
be
some
one mana
point.
source off. Yep, but
But
then be
like,
protected as a
yeah, and it's just like, 40% chance you have a force if you're even a blue deck in the basement battle. Like, there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff where it's just like, fuck it, we ball. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to
I,
make that decision. I
I
think
like
even
it,
at
right?
Eternal Weekend, I would make that decision the same.
Yeah, I like that decision. It just, plays out like that, right? And then if you do the other way around and I'm a Thoughtseize deck, or you don't see the mana source, or you get dazed or whatever, then you're just opening up a new can of worms. So
Right.
I like that decision. And yeah, it just, for some people, not the most entertaining Magic, but it's some kind of a puzzle where you have to play the percentages, just like a lot of other plays, in my opinion. So I was struggling a little bit finishing off that one of those games with the balancing on the One Ring. I believe, did I take 16 and then proceeded to win even?
Yes. I had seen that your hand had Omniscience Emrakul in it, but you didn't have Show and Tell, and you didn't have more mana. And
I needed
then
a Soul
like
Land, yeah.
the ring drew 3 cards, and like you had Chrome Mox in that deck. I saw that game 1, right? So you
Yep.
had some, like, you couldn't fetch, you couldn't tap Ancient Tomb. You need a pain-free source of mana.
Yeah.
And then you had to brainstorm, where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now it has to be City of Traders. And
Yes.
obviously it was. And then
Yeah.
it's just over from there.
I had a cool moment there where I was like, wait a minute, I need the perfect brainstorm. I need City of Traders and Show and Tell. I was lacking even.
Oh, you didn't even have
And
the Show and Tell yet? Okay.
no.
I'm sure
I
that
needed
was
like
good
two of
good
those
TV on
three.
your side.
Oh, it was perfect. I even brought out the goggles. Like
Nice.
I even brought out the goggles for that one. That was awesome. That was the perfect cinema, right? Being there at One Life. I'm not even sure. I found this deck in the 5-0 dumps. I'm not even sure what that big card, like the 5-color card, what that accomplishes. It's kind of like the Cunning Wish slot. But it doesn't solve, like, let's say, Oblivion Ring effects like Leyline Binding or Meteor Sword. I'm not even sure why it's in the deck. But I mean, it was fun. I could burn you out in the end there, instead of taking my turn. At that point, I actually already found the consign, so I could stifle my ring trigger, and then that card can even phase out 5 permanents, so I could have attacked for lethal with Emrakul. I mean, it was showboating at that point, but yeah, that was cool to see. Taking 16 and then getting over the finish line.
That seems like someone having fun with the conceit. Once Omniscience is in play, I can do whatever I want. And
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
It's
that
true.
card gets you to do whatever you want to do. So Show and Tell takes down a close first one, even though it sounds a little bit absurd. But I mean, I was at One Life, And then next up, I had the Sweet Death and Taxes deck that I had the pleasure of covering a few weeks ago when I did 4 Seasons coverage. And that deck, that player top 8'd the 300 player main event and made it to the finals of the Italian Invitational, just
Wow.
totally dominating. So yeah, I've been loving that. Played it a little bit on the channel as well. Birthing Ritual, just a cool addition to that deck, right? You just keep grinding. Maybe not the best against that specific matchup, but I do like the deck a lot on paper. You were, however, bringing a Grixis combo menace, and you got over the finish line with the Birds game 1, which is not that typical. That's not your ideal win condition against my deck, right. I would imagine.
Yeah, I think game 1, I had the option. So I didn't know yet what your deck was. Like, you had basic planes,
okay.
but you had, like, I didn't see that deck. I was,
okay, cool.
I was busy last weekend and didn't watch the coverage. So I didn't know what you were on. And I had the option to go Car, but Thoughtseize is the last spell I get to play. So I get blown out if you're like blue-white something or other. And
Yeah.
I saw like Plains, Esper Sentinel, and you had revealed Yorion, and like, it's in the realm of possibility that you're a Force of Will deck there.
Yeah.
And it would be embarrassing to just lose when I could Thoughtseize you first if I'm on Birds. I have to Thoughtseize you last if I'm on Car. And so I actually did have a decision to make there.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, because when I have to beat that card, it's like, then maybe I flicker one and I can maybe, the Meteor Sword was a little bit of an iffy decision that ended up being not very fruitful, because putting another one into your graveyard was just, you could just then bring back 2 later, and then I ended up giving you enough time to just kill me with Cars, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was not really advancing. I stemmed the bleeding, but I was not advancing, so I was struggling a little bit with that one. And then we had a fun little game of, you pick my hand apart, but on the second Thoughtseize, you see the Mindbreak trap, and then I draw a second, which is kind of hilarious. And I play 2 in my 80 card deck, right?
Oh, nice. Perfect.
So how do you, with your car, like how do you sequence around Mindbreak Trap? Because you also played out a pedal early. You just seem to know what you're doing against potential deafening silence, potential trap. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's I was pretty confident going into game two that you weren't a blue deck, and I had Thoughtseize you, so I knew exactly what your tools were. And the Thalias, the Deafening Silences, those are the scariest cards you could possibly play
Oh yeah.
against. So hedging with the Lotus Petal. I think that game I was also on one land. So like I kept Thoughtseize, bunch of cantrips, land Lotus Petal was my open. So like if you rip uh Thalia or something, I need to use that pedal to brainstorm.
Two mana cantrip, got it. Yes.
Right. Or if you wasteland me, I want some mana available. Like uh I do I actually needed that pedal to play the game against some spread of your draws. And it also happened to play around your Mindbreak Trap. But uh yeah, my hand that game had both Dark Ritual Buried Alive spell and Dark Ritual Car spell. And luckily the car just beats Mindbreak Trap if you know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
off
thing,
you go.
right? So once you saw my hand, I needed that. First of all, I needed that turn to Thalia, and then from there, yeah, I was hanging on by a thread. But even in the end, there, if I find a white source, you're probably in trouble,
Oh yeah.
right? So yeah, I think that was actually again, it's one of those games where the crucial situations are maybe few, but they're very important. Like how do you maneuver against deafening silence and other taxing cards? Also the Esper Sentinel, right? So if you have to play out that pedal later, could hurt you. So just smart play, and I always wanna highlight stuff like that. And then when I draw the trap, that's the exclamation mark for, oh yeah, that was smart. Like getting that card out of the way. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you can maneuver. Most car hands you can maneuver around Mindbreak Trap, if it involves Dark Ritual, I guess. But sometimes you have some weird ones where you have to play out like a pedal the turn before to make it all come together and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can also just play car. If you suspect your opponent has Mindbreak Trap, you can just tap 3 mana and put car into
Yeah.
play. Then next turn cast the 4 cards, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
If your opponent has just 4 Mindbreak Traps in their hand, that's very easy to beat with any car setup.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the cool thing about this deck is I have, 4 Skyclaves, so sometimes I can get you in spots like that where you play out stuff and then get punished for it later. I didn't find those this time. I would have wished that I found that white source in the end. Then that would have seen a cool comeback, or at least attempt of a comeback from your side. But
Yeah.
that
How
was
many
not in
basic
this.
forests are in that deck?
Just a single.
Yeah, that was my guess based on the
Yeah.
construction. I was like, I bet that's a 1 basic forest, and I bet he's gonna
Yeah.
lose because he has it. And
Yeah,
nice.
that was terrible. My 7, I had to put away a card. I put away a Wasteland, and then kept all my spells in those 2 lands. So yeah, I needed a white source before it was over there. Not
Right.
this time. That was in the script though, that I find a white source there, but I failed.
Yep. Yeah.
Then last up, help me out here. Last up, I
Yes.
played my Jeskai Cutter deck, which is essentially just a Jeskai control deck with 4 cutters and 2 Steel Shaper's Gift as the win cons, because I actually think just finding more cutters is reasonable thing to be doing while I'm disrupting with white and blue cards. So, and you were playing what I thought was just the white, let's call it Mystic Forge deck with white sideboard cards. But when you started playing Cavern, yeah, I thought it was Initiative, to be honest, before you played the Salvagers. Talk to me about like you slow rolling some zeros and trying to pick your spots and stuff like that in that game, because I felt like that was what you were trying to do.
Yeah, game 1, I think I had Cavern in my hand that I never played out because I wanted it to be a surprise when it mattered.
Nice.
But game 1, I took a deep mulligan and didn't really do anything. And then game 2, yeah, I had Salvagers, Cavern, 4 mana in my opening hand. So I played out an early car that got a Force of Will out of you, and I was never gonna trigger that car. Like basically impossible with
I
my
think I
hand.
consigned it on my turn
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Turn
a
2.
consign. Just
Yeah.
some interaction, and then um I had one turn that was kind of a bummer. I had a second Cavern on Eldrazi, but that's the turn I drew Urza Saga, and I want Saga moving because I have the whole combo if I can find Lion's Eye Diamond. But if I play Cavern on Eldrazi, I can definitely resolve my Fleshraker, which you
Yeah.
did end up forcing that turn. So like that Fleshraker would have like it would have been a turn later because Saga would have been down a turn later, but that Fleshraker, had it been in play, would have either eaten the plow that eventually got my Salvager, or it would have
Yes.
killed you immediately with Lotus Petal, even though you were able to force a negation the Lion's Eye Diamond. Like that, it's just one of those things where maybe I hid my cavern too long. Like if I don't sandbag cavern, if I just shove it, name human, then name Eldrazi, and then I top deck Urza Saga, but I'm already set up with the other things. That
Yeah.
might have been something I could have
Right. So the
anticipated.
Urza Saga made you, let's say, slow down on calm. No, because that was the LED. So does Fleshraker Petal do it with Salvagers?
Yeah, it's 2 mana from the spawn and the LED, and you take 1 each loop.
Okay, so that's even a combo by
Yeah,
itself
yep.
without further help. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that game was tough because I kept having the choice between developing like my monk game plan and then trying to stop you. So every time I had to think about chaining spells, but also forcing, but also what on earth do these caverns mean, right? So I ended up getting kind of lucky that, hey, wait a minute, force and negation works against this loop. That was not calculated in any fashion. That was just, oh, okay, I guess that's pretty good to exile that. And then from there, I guess you just had a little bit, I had awesome draws. The engine kept running and I could keep pointing at your stuff. And you had a little bit of a bad draw like game one where I was actually in trouble as well. I forced a couple of times and then you just have like a couple of extra lands, I would imagine, or,
Yeah, I drew
ineffective cards at
lands
least.
after for the entirety
Yeah.
of game 1. Yep.
So I was holding my breath at a few points there, even though it looks like you were just getting dominated. But there was some tough spots there where I had to get lucky with the right interaction. That was cool. So do you think any of your decks have like potential? Let's say some combo degenerates have a tournament on the weekend. Which one do you prefer or recommend, if any?
Yeah, I don't think adding the car to Oops All Spells is good, because all the slots I had to do with the cars were uh, I don't get a memories journey or a cabal therapy. Like there's really important things missing. Uh,
Yeah.
there might be one cabal therapy. Nobody checked my math on that, but there were slots that were taken up by that could be focused on doing the oops thing. There's no
Yeah.
sideboard juke either. There's no belcher. There's no creatures. You're just already main deck with that. I don't know that that's the best way to do that.
Yeah.
And then the Phoenix deck was probably the best deck I played today, but uh, unless you really like Arclight Phoenix, just learn your Doomsday piles and you'll be happier. If you want the car plus Dark Ritual plus a different combo setup, the Vroomsday deck is far and away the best version of that.
Yeah. I can see that. That's cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You were in combo mood here. Funnily enough, when I looked at my hand for match 3 and I had double force, double blue card, I was like, I think he's going for 3 combo decks. This is going to be great.
Yep.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and we were also, I guess, the power level was somewhat similar today. Sometimes we have something that stands out in either direction, but maybe today we were pretty close to tournament contenders, I should say, without being the top dogs.
Yeah, all of my decks did come from 5-0 dumps. There's no complete nonsense here. Somebody won with each of these decks. 5 matches in a row once.
Yeah, exactly. That's could happen for every deck, but also usually shows a deck has potential in some way or fashion.
Right.
But this was good, Brian. We were a little bit of a week too late here. My schedule was a little bit pressured, but we got there, and I was excited to do it as always. Thank you so much for the games.
Me too. All right. Yeah, we'll see everyone next month.